hitting record. And I'm gonna hit stream to live stream.
Okay, we good?
I'm just trying to get it to go to YouTube. Sorry. I need to put the password. See, this is it.
We've all been assigned.
That's good, I like that. Less decisions I have to make it better. What's the hat from? This is a movie from the 80s with Sean Connery and I forget who.
What's the name of it?
Highlander.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good hat from here.
Yeah.
It's a good hat, yeah, you know, it's a silly movie, but I just like the
Highlander, never heard of it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's like this guy that's from like Celtic times and lives in Denver, New York.
Oh, okay.
I
I mean, I
seen that, but yeah.
I like Sean Connery.
Queen does the music.
Yeah, and there can only be one.
They're gonna write.
Yeah, so he has to like challenge other ones that he comes across.
I just watched the movie last night, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And you went out and bought the hat.
Someone gave me the hat and I was like, I haven't watched this movie in a long time, and if I don't watch it, people are gonna start quoting the movie to me, and I'm like, no.
Oh, there's
Oh,
this.
sorry,
You want me to get-
Yeah.
I gotta know.
Okay.
Okay.
They had a TV show based off of it too.
I haven't seen the TV show.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Who was the
Yeah.
star?
I don't know his name.
Okay.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was pretty good.
Hey, nice crowd.
Hi.
I think we're all here,
Yes.
except Todd, but.
Oh,
He's
Tom's not here?
Sign on to,
Every once in a while, he tries to schedule something with me during the meeting, and I'm like, I feel like one of us should show up.
Okay, what did we cover?
Nothing. You want me to do it? Do you have? Okay. All right, I'll run the annual meeting, you can do the
Okay.
meat and potatoes, all right. I'll call to order the annual board meeting of the Newburgh Community Land Bank. We will note, attendance, Carson, Andre, Ramona, myself, Lisa Daly, Andrew Schreiber, and Jeffrey Warner, and Miss Littlebug.
Somebody else is coming.
Dion said she was going to
Yes.
come,
Yeah.
so we will maybe note her for the regular meeting if she shows up for
Okay.
that.
Do we get credits for her for next?
Our last meeting was held our last annual meeting was held July of 2024. We're now circulating minutes from that meeting.
So the minutes, I found some errors, so I wanna go back and revise those and bring them to the next meeting.
Okay. The next annual meeting?
I think we can bring it to the next meeting if
Okay.
John approves.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely, it's just a board meeting, yep.
She's here.
Because, John let me know that we don't have to have it as a separate meeting like we've always done. It can be within the monthly meeting, our annual meeting, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we will look at those for our September regular meeting. board member compliance, is that to you, Jen?
Yeah, I just have updated forms, the annual letter of disclosure, which I'm gonna pass around.
We can just sign them now and give them back.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Newburgh one requires a notary. But I think if you've already done it for another position with the
Jeff's a
city,
notary. You wanna take them home with you?
I'm gonna pass it around.
I don't have my notary, I can't remember what it is. It's on the
Okay,
stamp.
never mind.
I believe if you've already filed one with the city, if you're on another board or
Yeah,
I did mine for the
city. Yeah.
and then the other thing,
Hi, Dion. Oh, it's the same thing.
it's the city form. And then there's one that you only have to do once, which some of the long-term board members probably have, I probably have it somewhere, but I can't find all of them. So,
Doesn't hurt.
You know, it's really strange because they're trying to phase out notarizations. You can do affirmations. More than a year ago, they passed legislation saying anything that needs to be notarized can be affirmed.
Oh.
And I should send you the format for that. I'll send you the format for that.
okay.
We should be using that.
Do you
In
need
the
another human being to sign and stuff?
No, you swear under heaven is a perjury if the foregoing is true. That was put into effect because of COVID.
So I see, so they're catching up with COVID
COVID
now.
made them be modernizing. But I'll notarize everybody's, I'll affirm.
I don't recommend that at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think.
Give a
a
staff
board member-
member that can notarize, I don't know if that's as bad.
Yeah, again, this is, regardless of the rule that you're describing, this is a city form, I believe, a city financial disclosure form. So they're gonna dictate whether it needs to be notarized or affirmed or what have you.
I was only suggesting we do it on our own documents.
No,
Okay.
We
it's
need
city
to know-
document.
No, if it's somebody else's document, I'm not suggesting we change their document. Okay.
So if mine is already on file for this year, you're done, do I still need to? fill it
No.
out? Okay.
Because it's gonna be filed with the same city board, whatever it is, ethics. So then some of you, the ones, I put your name here if you need to do the one-time acknowledgement.
I bet everybody does.
No, I have like 3, so Carson, Lisa, and Jeffrey I have. And then I'm gonna try to be better at keeping it. The other thing that is required on an annual basis is training. So similar to like planning board and stuff like that, there is online training available through the ABO office.
Jennifer, if I could
send a
interrupt
link.
it, if I could just interrupt it, it's not required on an annual basis. It's required upon their appointment to the board. They have to complete state mandated ABO training. And
Okay.
then you're supposed to continue such training as is, I don't have the language in front of me, I could pull it up, but to maintain reasonably informed about the processes and procedures of the organization. So it's only mandated once, but you're supposed to keep yourself, educated to the processes and so forth. So
It's not a bad idea to do it, whether it's absolutely necessary or not.
So we need to notarize the second page here.
No, this one does not need,
Oh,
this one does.
That's the
The
annual.
one that's like 3 pages, which is disclosure.
That's his website.
And you may have already done that for another city board, I don't know.
See?
No, you're on the assessment review? You
Yeah,
have one.
yeah, so I just did the training for them.
But did you fill this out this year?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so then you're good. You just need one per city per year.
Okay.
Great, so I did just do this for.
So again, there's a link to the web training that they have available. I think there's usually a couple a month, and they kind of, like, they just have posted August right now, and then they'll, I guess,
the, will you send this, or what's the
What's the link?
website?
Send us the link.
Yeah, send us the link.
I'll send the link, I just looked it up earlier.
Great.
It's supposed to be completed within 1 year of your appointment to the board. And then,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, and then you're required to continue, you know, the language is participate in such continuing training as may be required to remain informed of best practices, regulatory and statutory changes relating to the management and financial activities of a public authorities, and to adhere to the highest standards of responsible governance. That's the one that, I mean, most people do their training within a year. The latter one is the one that kind of falls through the cracks with time.
Gotcha.
See, we did need you. Okay, that's it, I think.
So we're down to, oh, compliance, okay. Officer appointments.
Sorry.
Anybody want? Go ahead. Anybody want?
Anyone want a chair? You're done? Officially, or you're?
No, I'll do it because nobody's gonna volunteer.
That's it, this for you.
That's the way I operate.
All right, so do we need to renominate everyone, or?
Yep.
Okay, I renominate Lisa Daly as chair of the board.
I accept.
Why seconded?
Now
you can-
I accept.
You could do it as a slate if it's easier, if it's going to be
A slate.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Same time, yeah.
So
I'm happy to continue vice chair as long as it's one half a meeting a year, which it seems to be, so. Unless someone else, I have no interest in this if someone is dying to, okay, just want to make that clear. All right, so we'll have, the slate is Lisa, Ally, who is
Jeff
on?
Warner nominated, second.
Second,
Sorry.
Come on, people speak.
and then,
Treasurer?
treasurer, no, you're
It was
secretary.
Andrew
secretary.
this past year was Andrew.
Sure. I nominate Andrew.
Second. All right, and for secretary, I nominate Andre.
Accept.
3 A's and an L.
Oh, that's it.
We have a second.
All right,
There's no other nominees, they're automatically elected.
so we're automatic, we can
Yeah.
just do a vote anyway, let's
There's
do a slate vote.
there's no
All right.
opposition.
Oh, there's no opposition, okay.
Hearing no opposition.
Hearing no opposition, our slate is renewed for another year. We have a series of committees, sometimes active, sometimes not active. I don't think we've had much turnover with this group, are we good with committees?
I don't remember what the committees are.
I had it in the minutes. that I
There's
didn't bring it up.
audits, finance, governance, and planning.
I know I'm governance and probably planning.
Yeah, I was part of that audit.
I need a refresher.
I think it's good practice to have at least 2 on every. Is that-
Absolutely. It's kind of hard to have a meeting with yourself.
All right, audits, so audits is Andre. Anyone else interested in audits? It should probably, sorry to assign you, but be Andrew.
Oh, this is so exciting.
Yeah, it's only once.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right, I'll do audit
okay,
since it's only once.
all right. Moving forward, finance.
You retired now, girl. You got all the time in the world.
Oh, yeah.
don't. You would think.
Uh-huh.
I would volunteer for finance.
Okay, Jeff,
Me. No, I said governance and, planning.
is finance fundraising?
Could
Is that
be.
what that is? All right, I'll do that with you, Jeff, that's fine. Any other for finance? We don't have to, we got 2, but. Governance,
Yeah.
and Lisa, and then planning. Carson, Dion, I'll put myself in the chart to. Ally and Lisa?
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Urgent
Oh, I can
interest?
do planning.
All right.
5 people.
We should be able to plan something this year.
You should, right?
Get off my keister and keep going.
All right, moving forward to the annual audit update.
We've engaged the auditor again, and, since this was, our fiscal year just ended the end of June, we'll start working on the audit. The account is wrapping up.
And this will be the second year of the new auditor, is that right? Did we switch last?
Yes.
Yes, so, right. I thought there was an issue, we switched, yes, but hey.
The years of blurring, but yes.
Okay, next item, readopt required policies and proposed amendments.
Everybody needs to, I need to get everybody all the policies. That would help.
So I did send a link from our website, because they're all listed there. John Sid reminded me that they do need to be readopted every year. That's the correct term, and there are only certain ones that need to be readopted, but he said it's good practice to just so we know that we've done all that we need to do to do them all.
Okay.
That is my recommendation, just so you don't have to worry about which ones you're supposed to readopt annually and which ones you're not. I do have Jennifer has the list. If you don't want to do it that way, that's fine. The way this is supposed to work, again, is the governance committee would meet periodically, maybe on an annual basis, to review their policies with staff and say, hey, these policies are working great, we don't need to make any changes, or this isn't working so well, we want to make revisions to the policy, and they come back to the board with some recommendations as to where and how the policy should be revised. That's how it's supposed to work. I'm not suggesting that everybody does things the way they're supposed to, but at the bare minimum, you should be readopting your policies annually, because when you're audited, they're going to look for that.
I'm unfamiliar with use of the term policies. It's not typical in organizations. Is it like bylaws of the organization?
No, it's not the bylaws. It's the policies that land banks are required to have by law. So for instance, you have a disposition of real property policy that's required by the Land Bank Act. It describes how you sell your property, to whom you sell them, and under what circumstances. It's that's just one example of a policy that needs to be reviewed and readopted on an annual basis.
So what would be an example of a policy that's not mandated that we would have to provide for ourselves?
There a policy that's not mandated. Policy that's not mandated. You might have a policy on, I don't know, aesthetics. That's not required. You might have an aesthetic policy on improvements to your property. That's not required, but you might want a policy on that, colors and what colors things can be and so forth.
Do we know if we have such policies that we have previously set up for ourselves? I guess the committee that's handling will have to dig into it.
Yeah, I think all the policies that we have are ones that are required.
And I've just been handed a list of them.
Well, those are the
List that John gave me, but we have it, maybe under.
That's a list. That's not a list of your policy. That is not a list of your policies, right? That's a
Those are
list.
mandated.
Correct. Now, I'm of the school of thought, if you don't have to have a policy, why have one? That's my own personal thought. Most of my clients do not agree with me, however. I have land banks that have a whole slew of policies because they find it helpful to have a written policy. When someone comes asking for something, they can point to a written policy that says we can or can't do that. So again, not everybody follows my advice. I have land banks that have far more policies than are required by law. And as long as we're talking about it, for instance, as you see on the list you're looking at, those are policies required by public authority law and the Land Bank Act. There are other policies, for instance, sexual harassment, for instance, that are required by other laws that, I don't concern myself with regularly, but there are other policies that as an employer, you're required to have that are not on.
Right, we have a whole employee handbook with different policies.
And I assume that has a sexual harassment policy in it.
Yep.
Learn that the hard way. Okay, with that, for joke, so maybe the best thing is to have the governance committee, composed of Carson, Dion, and Lisa, meet in the next 2 months, and maybe by October, we can look to, does that give you enough time to come back in October and where are we? Oh, September, or I don't know, September, October, I'm trying to do 2 months, and I miscount.
Are there any committee leads or chairman of committees, or it's we just informally come?
We've never really had a chairman of the committee that I know of. We could. I
Yeah, we
don't mind
should.
that.
I mean,
Well, you
it's
should.
not a lot of us that just.
Somebody has to run the meeting. Somebody has to ask, for, go through the procedures.
Right.
Okay. So go down the list, and
Alright.
who would like to be chair?
So who, audits,
Oh.
can we have a chair of
Okay,
audits?
when I started.
Andre, Andrew, and Ramona?
Happy to, I'm the treasurer, I'm happy to chair the audit.
All right,
There you go.
Jeff, you and I duke it out for chair of finance.
Want to flip? Rock, paper, scissors. You can have it if
All
you
right, we'll
want
go,
to.
see, there we
Knock
go,
yourself
chair,
out.
governance, I have Carson, Dion, and Lisa,
Not me.
Sure.
okay? C for Carson, and planning, Carson, Dion, Ally, Lisa, and Ramona. You chair a committee?
Sure.
Okay, all right, great. So now we have chairs. So Carson, the lead, moving back to item 7, 8, where are we, 8? In the next couple months, if you would convene and then review and bring for the September meeting.
Yep.
Great, excellent, assign the task. And finally, I think that moves through the annual meeting, because now the next annual meeting date, please note, it is July 2026. So do you want to pick a specific date now, or we'll just have it at our standing meeting in
Yes.
July?
Always.
Right, confirmed standing meeting in July, year 2026. With that, I'll take a motion to end the annual meeting.
So,
I'll take a first and then a second from Jeff, is that okay?
good.
Okay. Any opposed? All right. Talk to you, Lisa. Chair the regular meeting.
The annual meeting will be July 15th, 2026. Okay. Checked attendance, we have a quorum. Handled the annual meeting. Now we need to review the minutes from last month's meeting. I do this. Anybody have any questions, additions, deletions? Fixes? Hearing nothing, I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, financial reports. How are we doing?
This is, in draft form until they, I guess the audit is completed. We don't necessarily have to vote on it.
Okay.
This is, but it, again, like they haven't closed the books officially, but this is kind of, mostly what we've done this year, this fiscal year. Since June 30th is the end of our fiscal year. So we have we have 292,000 in the bank, end of the month. Total assets, 1.6 million. Properties. And then we have the profit and loss, the year. And then also the last page, if you are able to read that, is month by month. So Yeah, we have
In the
them,
black,
what?
we're in the black.
We're in the black, we had a basic, the month of June, basic expenses. Our monthly expenses were around 30,000, which is typical. We had, grant income from our land bank initiative funding, as well as, a $15,000 grant from Hudson Valley Credit Union. And we did. Our net income for the year is gonna be about 2.1 million, which is not reflective of what we've received, but, from the sales of the buildings, that's how it's reflected. And we can, go over that in detail once we have the audit, and we will have the auditor come this year to break it down. If there's any specific questions.
Anybody have a question about any numbers? No?
Congrats on the grant.
Alrighty. Now we're into property related matters. What's this building, what's the number on this one?
That's 44 South Mill. So we can, that's the top, that's what we're gonna get into next, and we are working towards another round of Legacy City Access Program funding, which will be 4 to 6 buildings for home ownership, 2 and 3 family homes. Right now I have 5 buildings, possible buildings, 140 Chambers, 128 Du Bois, 44 South Miller, that's probably unlikely at this point, we'll see. 11 South Miller, and 238 First. So right now, in this past year, we've done work, on 140 Chambers, significant stabilization there, 128 Du Bois, which we're now doing additional work on. And then 44 South Miller was, we were, as we all know, about to do some major work there, but pricing and building conditions have been a challenge. So since the last meeting, a few board members visited.
There's one we're saving.
You can't call that a house.
A few board members were able to do a site visit. There wasn't an official meeting, just want to say that. And, went up on the scaffolding to see from the roof.
We're collapsed.
Also, since we met last, the bid for the abatement work, the company, I think it was Beam, that had the lower bid, they, and then they went out, they hadn't actually come out, I guess. So they went out and then we're kind of stunned, and they did give us a quote for demoing the whole building, which I think I shared at the last meeting. And then now they're saying they're not willing to do anything but a full-scale demo. They don't feel comfortable doing abatement and to save the shell.
So have we gone out to anybody else?
No.
Okay.
I think we were just trying to think about alternative ways to maybe save the facade or work with the property owner next door, the vacant lot, to see if we could acquire that lot.
If Carlos can stabilize it, does that change things for them? Obviously, there'd have to be engineering sign off, the thing is stable.
Well,
but-
so the issue is that he can't do certain work. It's like the abatement and the structural work kind of have to happen simultaneously.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a catch-22.
So his crew went out and got certified as allied trade, to be able to work in conjunction with the asbestos, remediator, but they're not able, like, they have to work with them, and that's part of the expense, is that they have to be on site.
Right. I guess when we looked at it, the real worry was that south wall. And he said it would be taking down this chimney in this photo and then part of the wall.
Right.
To make it safe to work inside. But he'd be bracing this wall with steel.
Right, it could be putting in steel joists.
Right.
And floor systems. Before all the asbestos material can be removed.
Right.
And the problem also is that because of all the rain we've gotten, like the conditions of the building has just progressed.
And it's heavier.
Yeah. Each time we go there, it's like a little bit worse and there's some, pretty risky situations.
But the demo cost is huge.
The demo cost, I think it was 230,000.
And we have a hole in the ground.
That's what we'd be left with.
I have one picture.
There's 3.
They don't do
other
it
that-
justice.
Yeah, here's the rest of the property. My question was, are both sidewalls exposed from the exterior? No.
It's a party wall. That's part of the scary thing about demo,
It's attached to the neighboring building.
an occupied neighboring building.
That we don't know.
Was there any, he said he was gonna reach out, but was there any further communication with the property owner to the lot next door?
They were coming to do a site visit and they wanted to see it, but we weren't available at the time and they sent photos and then I never heard from him again. But he was very interested in being part of a co-development
Yeah.
scenario rather than selling us the lot.
Which I don't, as I advised, until they make progress on the projects they have outstanding in the city.
Right.
Would personally advise. against
Yeah, I think
that.
he was like, well, we can just roll it into these PLPs we're already doing.
No, but you're not doing that.
Yeah. Well, they're about to close, he said. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I mean, I can reach out to him again, because, yeah, there was discussion when we were on site about if we had that lot, we could build a steel structure to stabilize and that steel can then turn into new construction. To do like a second
Brand new
building or like expanding the building. Which would be safer.
We didn't get an educated bid on shoring it up.
We have a bid from Carlos, from a while ago, that was his part of doing the work,
Just his part.
which was like 212,000. I think that is now over like a year and a half old or something. Plus, it was like another 250,000 for the abatement part.
So then we're over 500K.
Right, just to stabilize and put a roof on and do some floor.
Does land bank have to sell the buildings? Can they rent the units or do you have to sell them?
We could rent,
I just say, because again, if you do a tax credit deal, you're getting, 30% of your cost back, so, just throw that out there as in this situation.
like LIHTC tax credits or historic tax?
Historic,
Yeah.
right, you rent for 5
Right.
years, so I'm just saying, if to save the building, given the cost, I think you'd have to do a rental tax credit deal. And if the land bank doesn't wanna take that on, right, tenants, et cetera, then it sounds like you gotta demo the building,
I just think we start selling the whole demoing the building. It's not that I'm like literally, it's not that I'm like so focused on this architecture, though, obviously that's part of it also.
It's just the liability of the neighbor and their party wall.
I think it's a huge thing to consider, like we could be wrecking another building.
I mean, there's a great new I think I mentioned there's a great new HTC fund for small building projects that just got set up.
Mhm.
I've met, John, who owns the lot next door.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've met John, twice there at their meetings and, they're raising 100 million to buy tax credit equity for smaller deals. So
That's
they would love to partner on land bank deals, you just have to be willing to rent the buildings for a minimum of 5 years before you sold them. And again, it's a HTC deal, so it's like, it's nothing more complicated than you've done, given all the sources you guys accumulate through these deals, but you know, it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, we could also co-develop with someone who would be the.
That's what I was gonna say,
longer term
to maybe Andrew's the
Yeah.
person, is there a co-developer avenue without having the lot next door? So we don't control the lot next door,
I
which
don't
ties
think-
us into John Waters, but cause it's in my, if we own the lot, I would say, what if we do a quick RFP and see if there's a co-developer, but.
Even with HTCs, this thing's not gonna pencil the way it needs to for someone to wanna take it on.
It would be 4 units.
Unless
yeah.
there's, okay,
That's why
okay,
I,
right,
right,
so then we're looking specifically at someone who may be fine, but just my concern is how slow they move on other projects.
right, I mean, and I think, you know, the land bank could do an HTC deal. You could say, all right, we're gonna take.
But we
this-
don't have the lot, I mean, we would have to move towards.
Well, I'm saying just, I mean, I'm sure you.
Or could we couple it with
You
another
couldn't,
project?
you couldn't do HTCs on the lot anyway,
Right,
because
fair
it'd be
enough,
ground
yeah.
up, but you could say, all right, we really wanna save this building, we don't wanna go in the hole on the demo. So we're gonna take this building, and we're gonna take 2 or 3 other buildings that we have, and we're gonna do HTCs, and we're gonna rent it. And we're gonna package it as 3 buildings, and therefore your historic tax credits will be large enough. Right, that a fund like that will say, oh, great, 3 million in tax credits, let's go, right? And so instead of, you'd pivot a little bit to save the building. You'd have more rental units, right? Maybe you had like 12 or 14 rental units, and the sizing of the deal would be enough to compel the investor and then make the deal work insofar as you wouldn't be so much in the hole. You save the building, and it's just, as a land bank, when you take tenants, then the disposition of that building becomes problematic in the sense that, you know, someone's getting kicked out if it's a, if it's.
Could you co-opt it? I mean, I know there's been lots of talk about that, but that, like,
Hasn't been done yet.
it hasn't been done yet, but you know,
That's all it is.
Right.
You can't co-op an HTC deal, it has to be rental.
So this is
I
what we
mean,
are doing with
eventually.
the other projects.
Yeah, I mean, I think you condo it.
Sure.
No,
it'd be nice to like sell individual units instead of like, if it in a
sure.
much larger building, then that
Mhm.
is harder.
You know, condoing a building though, I'm doing it right now, I'm doing a conversion. You know, it's 2 years to get through the AG's office, it's 200,000 minimum per condo. You're not gonna put those buildings in a single condo.
Right.
If you could be comfortable with figuring out what would happen to those buildings in 5 years, and not ruminate too much on like, what do we do with the rentals once we're clear of the HTC requirements?
Mhm.
Just,
Well,
you'll deal with it down the line, but we're gonna save the buildings and we're gonna create some housing.
No, I mean, we have this other project that is exactly that, on Lander Street.
Right.
And we're seeking a co-developer to be the ultimate long-term.
This is the ground up.
No, the 3 on the corner of Lander and.
Oh, those 3.
Campbell, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that could be an HTC, you could string those 3 together, I mean. Again, I think this one though would really take additional funds, I don't think,
Well, it's
it's not
more
gonna,
expensive, yeah.
it's not gonna pencil out on its own.
I think that's why John Waters was suggesting adding it to what he's doing that right now
I-
with other projects.
I just find that the costs of demolition seem so extraordinarily high.
It's the asbestos.
Because it's hot, yeah.
It's the asbestos.
Well,
And the
that's my
size-
next
Sorry,
question.
No.
whatever.
What is it?
Is it asbestos?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the
Yes,
asbestos.
yes.
Well, we had a problem on East Palmetto Street with the bricks containing asbestos. Do these bricks contain
It's the
asbestos?
roof, but it's,
But they,
Because
because
it's all
it's all falling in and
cross-contaminated.
they treat everything,
Contaminated?
It's intermingled.
Yeah,
with
they-
all-
everything
everything
is
that's
asbestos.
inside the building.
and the bricks are so
You
heavy
can't
that
keep
that's.
what's up.
Well, that's the
Oh, yeah,
idea,
that
is
was
keep
the
what's up,
idea.
so you minimize what you've
Well,
got.
I'm looking at a piece of the wall that's up.
Yeah, but
And those
Oh, yeah,
bricks be
reinforced.
utilized.
it's worth walking past it and it's around the corner, that's really just the top, the building's in surprisingly
Well, that's the
good shape.
problem with looking at these photos. You
Yes.
don't get a real perspective.
It's, that looks bad, the shell of the building is beautifully built.
Yeah, I
It's
was-
still
I was
standing.
There is
surprised when I went
Boeing
to
on
it.
one wall.
There's Boeing,
Yeah.
but not meant.
And it's not the
newer
whole way
buildings are
around.
in
No.
much worse shape.
No, I mean, it's, yeah, it's could be worse.
It's not just the demo, it's the getting rid of the demo stuff.
That's,
Well,
that's,
That's
the
the
cost.
demo,
That's part of
that's
the
the demo,
cost.
yeah,
You
And
know, as
also,
much
is
as
it-
you can keep.
Is it gonna
You-
impact
you
rest
might
of
be-
the building,
Yeah.
that's a
right, the
huge,
building next to it?
Right.
When you're removing that, the demo.
If you wanted to do an HTC deal, I'd give you all my knowledge around it and, you know, provide what insight I have having done.
Could you explain
Two.
what that means?
Sure, absolutely. So, you know, you have a project, let's say you buy it for $1 and your qualified costs are $1 million, or let's say they're $1,000,001. All right, your total cost $1,000,001, usually about 95% of your cost qualifies. So let's say you have $1 million in qual costs, all right? The historic tax credit on a deal under 2.5 million is 20% to the federal government and 30% to the states. It's a total of 50%, right? So if you're at $1 million in qualified costs, that's 500,000 in tax credits. You then sell those tax credits to what's called a tax credit investor, typically a bank. In the case of this fund, these are individuals, real estate professionals that can benefit from these credits under the IRS tax code. You sell the credits to them at a discount. Their incentive to purchase them is saving on their tax bill. Generally blended, you get about 80 cents on the dollar. So of that 500,000, you get 400,000, okay? You receive that money, some of it up front, and then you bridge loan the remainder of it until you complete it and the credits manifested, right? So you gotta knock it back a little bit. But let's say you got, you know, after fees and everything, you got 300,000. Be a significant source for a deal of that size. Now, if you aggregate a couple more deals together, better pricing, better economies of scales with your legal and accounting fees. So, you know, maybe you're getting 325, 350 a deal, right? And that's generally how it would work. There's compliance on the back end to some extent, it's not significant. And then, you know, you'd be having to reconcile, you know, without getting too far down the line, there's a developer fee, right? And you usually defer that to boost your basis, but then you need to be able to pay that developer fee with cash flow from the project, which pushes against renting them at below market, because you're trying to balance out how you boosted your credits with the deferred developer fee and the cash flow that will come out of the project to pay that deferred fee, right? The land bank has to take that fee and has to meet that fee over 5 years because it's basis for the credits, and if you don't, it undermines what you've claimed as a credit. So that's just big picture how it works. I know that might sound like complicated, it is kind of, but you could do it, it would just push against your ability to offer the units at a significantly below market rent, which is your sort of mission, but perhaps in the case of saving a building, worth it, right?
Right, I mean, hopefully that's what we're doing at this other, I mean, I don't know if it makes sense to bundle it with, you know, this other project, or if there are other. I mean, we're requiring
yeah.
other properties.
You've got tons of buildings,
Yeah.
I'm sure you could put together
Well.
2 or 3 and bundle them and really make a deal that works, and it, you know, it'd be, I don't know if there's a land bank in New York that's done a tax credit deal, it might.
Well, developers that we.
Yeah,
work
but
with
like,
have done it,
Yeah, or, yeah, and maybe it's a co-developer, maybe it's you guys on your own, but, you know, certainly happy to act as a resource and save you guys a lot of brain damage in terms of, you know, how to do it. So that's my possible solution. that I
So
can
what
offer.
steps do you think we need to take to start doing something like this? Do we need to hire a consultant? Do we need to put together the buildings and say, hey, these are the buildings, guys, are you interested?
Well, yeah, I mean, I could just, in my capacity as a board member, go over a quick model with Jennifer, and she could, you know, rather than spend more money on a consultant, we could just come up with a pro forma and you could see how it worked, and then you could reach out to the tax credit guys, and if they're good with it, then you've got your budget here, you guys probably fund it with a bank and you do it, you
Yeah, I
know?
know that. If you can get buildings close enough together, you're really helping the deal.
It's better to do buildings that are closer, but it's a scattered site project. Rubco did this with, that was an HTC deal, right? So
Well,
I
also,
just,
they also had LIHTC,
they also,
And a
you're
bunch of
right,
other
they
things,
did
yeah.
have LIHTC.
yeah, which is another type of tax credit.
So I'm not saying you have to do it that way, it's a suggestion if you wanna save the building, simultaneously not lose all that money on the demo. But it does feel like a catch-22 without some alternative source to make it unsafe.
What's the biggest downside to that? How could we screw it up?
On an HTC deal,
It could go away.
I don't know, SHPO doesn't like the way never agrees to approve your application. But
But we're not gonna have that problem.
No.
All of this work is above the level.
Carson's doing an HTC deal, I mean, I've done 2 now, I think you're likely to, even even the application itself, like, I write those myself to SHPO, you don't need a.
Well, we started that, we did like the part 1.
Yeah, you don't,
I've done
I
that,
write
yeah.
those myself, like, you don't even need
Why
a
do you think
historical.
we have you on this?
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, what I'm saying is it's
Yeah,
like,
don't you, right?
Somewhere to say.
it's eminent.
Yeah.
He's the architect.
Right.
It's eminent, like,
Yeah,
I'll send you
Oh.
my HTC application for 983 Liberty, which is a 40-year building, like,
So you did do that on a.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
So, I mean, is it worth skipping ahead to the Restore New York? It seems like, I don't know, it seems like there's general consensus that we wanna look at more options to save the building.
To save the building.
Well, look at more options. I don't know that I'm, like, I don't know that I could, I'm on the edge. I don't know if others.
If you had 3 buildings, or 2 or 3.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
going down to Restore New York, we have 3.
We have a bunch of buildings.
Yeah.
So we
and
have 3, we're already doing this. Is it worth, in your opinion?
Listen, I'd take an hour, and if you gave me the 3 buildings and your assumed hard and soft costs, I'll underwrite it and show you what the credits would yield, and you can evaluate whether or not you think it's worth pursuing with your time, et cetera, right?
What do you estimate?
No, I mean, yeah.
The soft cost like that you would need to be reimbursed, I think we need to get a bit of a handle on that.
What, maybe additional soft costs?
Yeah,
There's additional legal for the tax credit investor, and there are things called projections that you have to do, so there's some additional accounting fees, but that's really it, right? That's really it.
Okay.
You can do it very lean, so long as you know what you're doing. Again, between me and Carson, we have 3 of these under our belts, so
are we financially in a position to talk about being able to provide those?
I'm not getting paid
I
to
think
do
he's
this.
volunteering.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
volunteering.
No, I think it makes sense to talk about it,
Well,
but we have
especially,
the funds to do something like this.
Yeah.
especially if we're
Well,
already
we're
doing
doing it
it,
anyway.
if we're already doing it for
Yeah.
Lander, I think if Andrew's,
Yeah, we
feels
have-
comfortable adding a 4th building
Right.
to that portfolio, seeing if that just makes the whole thing fall
Yeah, we
apart
haven't
or
gotten
not,
that
it's helpful.
far in the, we haven't run the numbers for the tax credits for that project yet.
Does it make more sense to pull this out of the legacy cities? Is that what you're saying at this point?
Yeah, I don't think we can afford to
Yeah.
put that, I mean, it's gonna be $1 million just to, do.
That's what I was looking for, some general numbers about if we rehab this building, it's gonna cost about ballpark this much. If we tear it down and rebuild something in its place, it's gonna be a ballpark of this much money. Because I have no clue. I mean, I know it's gonna be 500,000 to,
But also the unknown of if we damage the neighboring building.
see, that's the kinds of things. Well, either way, it could be damaged, but mostly
Sure.
demolition is where we damage the
Yeah,
building.
I think we're in better shape shoring, but that's my.
Well, I mean, don't look at me.
I mean, it's expensive either way,
But
but
then you have to get the adjacent landowner to agree.
I think we
You're
can get
sure
the
into
adjacent.
his building.
I think one.
There's no
call- I
building,
think
it's
one
a-
call from Ally. and he's gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can secure that.
So do you wanna update about the Restore New
It
York?
just seems to me, again, and going back to demolition. Demolition doesn't mean that we have to go down to dirt.
Well,
We can salvage parts of it, can't we?
That's what we're talking about, if we were going to rebuild.
Can we?
basically what we all looked at when we did the site visit is that you either shore the south wall that you're looking at there with the crumbling chimney has got a bow in it. It needs to be shored before you can safely have anyone
To
enter.
do anything.
So that's the other walls, there's a party wall in the north, and then there's the facing east and west walls, those are okay. But if you don't shore that south wall, which faces the adjoining property that we've been talking about, it's vacant lot. I mean, almost not buildable unless you own this.
Can they shore that south wall without encountering any asbestos?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And to shore it would be.
And part of it is the way, no, we can't really do any work without well, yeah, we're gonna shore it and
then you'll move
yeah, but we
inside.
still need the abatement contractor on site.
Right.
Just to do that
Even to do
stabilization,
that part.
You can just shore
according to the Department of Labor variance that we have.
I wonder if it could be, I understand the shoring work inside, putting beams back in, but if it's wholly outside for just getting.
That's what
Oh,
I'm saying.
that- oh, I
You're
see.
just-
I think we can.
right.
You're just
Yeah,
shoring
I
that
see.
one wall from the outside.
I believe
One of
that
the,
is
but I think
okay.
one of the things was there was to save costs in the long run, there was a thought of using specific steel in
Yeah.
a specific way so that
You,
it could be
you
reused.
plan that
Right.
that steel is already on
Yes,
site and
exactly.
somehow you use it in the project or on the
Yeah.
adjacent
Exactly.
build.
Yeah.
Whether or not you can actually plan ahead enough
To-
to do that,
You use some of it.
you really would have to have your plan tight,
Yes.
right? You'd have to have the
Yes.
plan very tight.
Yeah, we thought we could use this, no, turns out.
It sounded from what Carlos was saying that it got difficult and you'd have to sort of do it top down. You'd have to take some of the wall down because it's not stable at the top.
Right.
Like you
Is,
said, the wall is both.
You could
It's
just,
both.
just push
So you
that
take it
in.
down below the bow.
Yeah, push that in.
well, they wanna save the bricks because the more weight you add into the inside, the more hot material you're trying to pull out.
No, yeah, no.
So like the less dollar amount you have
Right.
to push into it, but.
That makes sense. Sorry, that was stupid.
But there's joisting that has come out of the joist pockets inside that you have gotta re-secure, even if you're shoring the south wall, is this right? The inside still has to have steel joists
Yeah.
reinstalled to work. So you'd be
Before they even.
top down getting, I mean, that's not insignificant. That's a lot safer to do that once the south wall's short from the
Yeah,
outside.
because there was concern about, like Carlos was like, how am I gonna secure my workers if there's nothing to like tie
You
it
can't
into?
unless, yeah.
So I think that does solve a lot of problems.
So when you make a statement that restoring this property is going to cost you $1 million, I say that's economically not feasible.
Well, but think about the cost of all of our projects. I mean, we're at,
Well, maybe-
$700,000-800,000.
I'm wondering if it could be rethought to some degree. Can you save part of it, demolish other part of it? Can you do a combination of things?
Well,
Said two
we
walls are
talked
good.
about, could we save the front facade?
Well,
You're incurring enormous costs to take out the rest of it. Because how are you gonna shore the front, separating those linked walls, like it just,
Well,
that becomes.
I
economically
remember
not
when
feasible.
I was living in the Washington DC area in Georgetown.
Oh, they do a great job of
They
that.
put in a mall.
Yeah.
And they had to save the facade.
Yeah.
And the steel beams went in behind it and the rest of the buildings were demolished.
It's the asbestos that makes it different. I mean,
Just as in the bricks.
and it's
In
just
the
a really
bricks, in the
dangerous.
I don't know if we verified it in the bricks, it's in the roof
It's in the roof,
material.
yeah. No, these bricks are really old, they're from
The roof
asbestos.
is gone.
The roof has
Yeah.
dropped
Well, that's-
friable
That's
material
what we
in,
carted away.
but you've gotta get into the basement where it's all collapsed into. And
We
it's not
can't do
just,
that until it's short.
the problem is it's not just the roof, it's all of the interior plaster walls, floors, everything that was inside, which was the whole building. Yeah. So it's a ton of weight, it's a
Yeah.
ton of money. You're a ton of money either way, and if you demo it, you are literally at a whole, well, a gravel lot ideally, but. You
Yeah, I mean,
spend-
there's no scenario in which this is inexpensive.
Right.
But I think that we can explore some of these other options.
At least look at them.
I mean,
yeah.
having that lot would make, a big difference in terms of how we proceed
Yes, yeah.
and looking at
Making it easier.
financing.
So we are still in the process of deciding whether it's restore or demolish.
But I
Or
think,
are we
I
out?
think is it helpful for you that we all agree that it should not go into legacy cities? Is
Yeah.
that a helpful decision that we can?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of,
Move
yeah.
something forward for you.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
Okay,
just
yes.
say we can say
Yeah, I kind
yes.
of assume that.
Do you move something into the slot or are these?
Well, we're
for-
waiting, I mean, another point on the agenda, we're waiting, there's another building, 146 South, that
Yep,
we're in
yep.
court.
Right, oh, that'd be.
God, they're just working away over there.
Maybe,
Crazy.
maybe.
I asked, they just keep doing violations, but the problem is you get to a point where you just go right to court, and so, you know, they
Maybe,
ignore their violations, because they don't.
How can they legally work over
If
there?
they don't do a
It's an
stop work order, if you don't have a permit.
They do, it doesn't matter, so the only thing, so then a judge could issue an injunction, that's where we're at, like a judge could
I mean,
issue
it's
an
dangerous for
injunction.
people to be working there.
Right, so they'd have to argue that
Right.
it's so much that a judge needs to give an injunction.
Jennifer, I'm sorry to interrupt, I gotta run, but thank you.
Yes, thanks, John.
It's the same thing over here,
Yeah.
right?
Maybe
They just
put in
keep
an
working away.
injunction for it?
What-
Yeah,
what's going on
utilities.
over there?
Right, up from downstate,
Kim.
Winlander,
No, that was.
Oh, yeah. and there's a permit out now.
maybe go contingently if you were able to secure the land or some.
Oh, yeah, back to, yeah, on,
If you can get the land.
no, I've suggested, but he said he was gonna reach out to you and talk, so he wants a co-developer. Could legacy, I mean, sure, let's do the numbers and see how that works, but I think even if, I said this the last meeting too, I think, or maybe when we were out there, I think buying the land is even a better option than, like, not owning the
Yeah.
land, so.
For sure, yeah.
Okay, and if you have two other buildings that you think might be a good candidate?
Well, it kind of depends on what we're doing with Legacy City
Oh, okay.
and, cause kind of most of our actual buildings are being,
Sure.
being used for that, maybe 90 Gidney.
I was thinking about that building, that's a great,
I mean,
And, yeah, 90 Gidney, and then if, I'd
Cause it is
love,
a commercial, so that
Yeah.
kind of is better for rental.
would love to have a conversation with the map too, again, that was one of the things.
Are
that
they?
We were happy,
in that stretch,
they own everything else.
Right.
So,
I mean, that is one of the best,
yeah,
that'd be amazing.
oh, 90s, this one?
90 is the one that had the barber shop, yeah.
So you guys own that now?
Yeah, we own it, but are under agreement.
Oh, that would be a
Yeah, the
great,
land bank has been approved by the city council.
that'd be a great
for that.
HTC building.
And then,
But
the
then
other
the better
one too,
spot is the,
and we did fly a drone at one point, a roofing drone.
And it has a roof?
It did, but it was,
Oh, it did.
the
There was
water
maybe some
damage, yeah,
damage.
and it's, the neighboring properties aren't, they're all working together to destroy each other, so.
Yeah.
It didn't look that
So it's
bad
a
inside 90.
No, it's, yeah, I think it'd be great, but it's just, it needs something quick, I guess is what I was saying.
Oh,
but the even better part is the land that's next to it that the map does not use. That
Where
could
that
be
garden
the garden,
space was.
right? I mean, there's even space between the
Ooh.
garden and,
yeah, I'm just, if you had two brick buildings like that, 3 stories that you wanted to put together with that one. And we just did some simple hard and soft costs. And then I'll throw it all together and run a quick model on what you could yield and what the cost would be, that would be helpful.
you should have a project on that corner,
The what?
Yeah.
I don't know, that's a good question.
that corner, that's,
Yeah.
that's good.
Okay.
Okay, so what's our plan moving forward as of now?
Yeah,
You're gonna tell me which 2 buildings, you're gonna give me the hard and soft costs, I'm gonna run a model.
Yep.
And share that, and then you can see if the juice is worth the squeeze there.
Good.
and on the stormy yard, I'm sorry, I didn't get anywhere with the corner building,
Oh, it was 74?
yeah.
I reached out to,
Was that
Your
clear?
mom?
Yeah,
but I didn't, it's like full voicemail. But I tried more times, so.
I looked into it, I'm trying
Cause they got some land use approval.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just totally stalled out.
whoever I talked to was like, no, I think there is more progress than it seemed to be.
Berg told me there's more progress.
Okay,
But
yeah, I don't know what's just. I'll write it down this time, whenever I find out, I'll write it down.
So we have stabilization drawings for 72, 76, and 78 from our engineer.
Lander.
Are these
For the
new ones?
no, that's site plan, so this is what we just submitted to the city for the RFI.
Gotcha.
So we submitted these RFIs for individual buildings, but then we're told to make it like 2 site plans because they're in 2 different zoning districts. Because it's divided by Campbell.
Really?
So 72, so there's, right now we have,
I think he did the math ahead of time too, and it's better,
Is
it
it?
comes out better for 2 applications.
right, I mean, I paid for more than I needed to, but that's fine, we'll get something back, but so 61 Campbell is this narrow flag lot.
Yep.
That has a remains of a carriage house on it, we're proposing to build a 2-unit cottage there. And then 72 Lander is an existing, like, I think that we're saying a 3-unit.
Is that the one that there's no parking for?
No, well, that's the thing,
There's
there
no
is
required parking on that.
on the ones south of
Yeah.
Campbell, the ones north there is, but there's the lot, that's why it's advantageous to actually break it up. Because otherwise you're counting all the units and
Right.
counting all the parking need, instead, you're only counting north of Campbell's unit count, and you can make that with the parking.
Right, so we have 12 spots on the others for 76, 78.
Yeah.
76 and
Right.
78 are 2 buildings, and then we're getting 80
So much
Lander,
constant parking right now.
which is a lot from Habitat, and so that we can provide 10 spaces and then a couple spaces in the back for 12 total spaces, because we're proposing 2 restaurant spaces on the ground floor.
Right.
I was looking at a plan, and I don't know how to identify it to you. But the buildings, the back of the buildings came out in a stagger, and the one that staggered more had a bow window in it. Does that ring a bell?
One of these has a.
Yeah, I think
Well,
it's,
72
yeah, I think
Lander.
And it said
yeah.
there was no
It's
parking
78.
available. And I see at least 2 spaces that can be available. Because there's a cross interior road that you can pull out of and negotiate a turn.
But we don't need it for that.
Yeah, that zone doesn't.
It's in a
require
different
Oh, you
zone.
don't need it?
Yeah, it's in the zone that we
It's
don't
just
need.
an additional benefit.
Right, if
We can
that's-
avoid parking spots.
Or again, avoid a variance, even
Yeah.
if
Right.
everyone gets
So
parking
these are the-
spots, just avoid the variance.
This is the existing, this is what we're proposing.
Yeah,
Oh, no, I'm sorry, this
This is
opposite, the existing, this is what we're
yeah,
proposing.
this is what I was thinking.
Yeah, so we submitted these RFIs to the city, and we'll see what that comes back with, we wanna see if we can build that cottage, which will be 2 units.
Which one, yeah, $25,000 today.
What?
Bought a software last time and it said it auto renewed, and I was like. No, I said, they said it's in your contract, I go, well, that's fine, I'll pay the bill if I have to pay the bill, but that's absolutely deceptive, and you're gonna remove the city of Newburgh from any future marketing
Oh.
for any neighboring properties, and all of a sudden, they're like, we decided to wait for 30 days for you.
Thank you very much.
Success.
So, I just met with, Diana today, did the site plans and is doing the design. And we wanted to submit an RFP or RFQ for abatement and stabilization. So what we decided, because 76 is still a question, we weren't able to do the environmental testing in there because of conditions, we decided to hold up that one and do the RFP for 72 and 78, which are in much more decent shape and.
Yeah,
and
and I
have
think
the-
78 has that issue where it needs stabilization, it's so.
76.
Oh, no, 78 needs, 78, the.
Storefront.
The
Right.
storefronts, it just needs like a little bit of stabilization.
extra, yeah.
So it's nice to get that done, so I agree with getting that done first.
Yeah, and I mean, we might not be, like, we have these stabilization plans that are gonna be a lot more than what we actually have budget right now, but. We're gonna put out an RFP for the 2 buildings that we have the asbestos and lead results for. And for both abatement and stabilization.
They come
And
back
people
with
can
like
bid
RFPs.
either on all of it and be like the GC, or just do the stabilization, or just do the abatement. And then in the meantime, we're gonna clean up 76 more and see if we can get testing done and what needs to be stabilized in order to kind of get the information, because we don't want to do a situation where we're assuming
Yeah.
it's all lead and asbestos. So
Was
that's
there
what,
asbestos in both the others?
yes, but different type, you know, in different places, so like, you know, we want to know, for 76, and so that can just be added later.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So in the meantime, we're getting things
Yeah.
going, and, you know, I have some preliminary underwriting, which I'm gonna share with Andrew for the hard and soft costs. And
Do we have the ability, or can we have the ability, when we're talking about the specific properties, to have plans shown up on the wall someplace where we can all see what we're talking about, and maybe have a, you know, a pointer, and it would help, I
Yeah.
think, everybody in understanding what's going on.
I have a projector, but
You do.
it's very, like, with our our current tech setup, it's a little challenging to have all the things going at once. But, yeah, I've thought about that. I know it's complicated to kind of understand what everyone's talking about without looking at it.
Oh, we have a projector.
Yeah, that would be nice if we can just
Yeah.
have something like that.
And you could have a little electronic pointer when you talk. It would be wonderful.
Live out your teacher dream.
Yeah, I had a smart board at my old
Okay,
job.
let's think about that.
Do you want a motion to approve the purchase of a smart board?
I think
Yeah,
that's
now that we
within
got all
my-
this
I think I
cash,
could
don't show
spend
us,
it.
don't show us financials like this and.
I probably don't need approval for that expense.
Yeah, I think it's under whatever we said, as a policy,
Yes.
not as a mandate.
All right, quickly, 143 and 146.
So 143 Washington, they have resumed the closing calls with CPC.
Oh, so Baxter worked out.
Yes,
Great.
they still don't have a
That's good.
contract with them, but, and they're still like sending subs and working on numbers, but they are working with Baxter.
I got 5
That's good
minutes.
news.
This is Washington?
Yeah,
Yeah.
143 Washington. So that's hopefully gonna close, they wanna close like in August.
Yeah.
But
Great.
every
That's what I want
place,
them to close.
Yeah.
vacations are a little tricky with that, but I was on a call yesterday for that. So that's happening. 146 South, they're, you know, for our reverter action, our attorney submitted some affidavits. Like basically they, I think I said at the last meeting that they wanted to settle and ask for another year to complete the project, and I said no, so that we're going ahead. And,
Complete the project, they haven't even applied.
yeah, I mean, that was my affidavit, it was saying like they never, I've not communicated with them once since 2020, they've not given any information or responded to any of my attempts.
Yeah.
And they've not followed the proper procedures.
Am I remiss in saying that they haven't filed a response, an answer?
They did do an answer and they said they had family living in the building
So what?
and that they were working on, I don't know, I can't remember exactly what it
Oh,
was, but it
right,
was
yeah.
like, it's some throwaway answer.
Yeah.
And so then now our attorneys are responding back saying.
I'll have a motion for
Yeah.
summary judgment.
Exactly.
Okay.
In other words,
One of these
Good.
days.
Good.
it's just taking a very long time.
And now it's taking
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 years.
Well, and at
They
the,
they were hoping that South Street would become revitalized,
Yeah.
but then they were ready.
wow, they've screwed up the building in the last few months, unfortunately.
Yeah. So then the last item, the property acquisition, we are working towards a closing, that's from all but 2 of them. So just a little aside with the land bank initiative funding, we've been doing it, a lot of our costs, we've been getting as advances. We usually, you know, some things we prepay, but a lot of things we needed the money from the state in order to pay some of our bigger, you know, contract bills and stuff. And then they said, well, we're only gonna do that going forward for $50,000 because that's what your prime fidelity policy is for. So then I just increased it to $1 million. Cause it was like a few $100s, you know, and so now,
Access to capital.
yeah. Otherwise, you have to use your line of credit, which is what I was doing also, with using our line of credit, which has like now the interest rate went up to like 10% or something. Or it was at one point, I don't know what it is now, but, so that just helps us, like, cause we were having to come up with like 500,000 for acquisition, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to front that. So just to let you know that, and we're working through with, Jeremy Kaufman on effectuating that, those sales.
I'm sorry, now I have to run early, so, fill me in on any
That's
details.
it.
Can I ask one last thing, is
Yeah.
the 34 lander carve out?
I've not heard from him again, he said he was gonna send me engineering.
Saw there was a fire there,
Oh, yes, I did see there was a fire there, yes.
and they left it open, and on 4th of July, we were
We were
going back
both
and
of us
forth trying
calling
to get
his
him to
wife
secure the
and
building.
like him and,
Was that our building that
Yeah.
caught fire?
no, we sold
Well,
it
sold,
to
but
somebody and then he's past his deadline
now it's
for.
condemned, it's like the building's deteriorating pretty
Because it was
quickly.
winter to begin with, so it's not.
I think if he doesn't take action on it, like actually get you things, we
Those
should.
poor Fidelity boys.
So, yeah, we should give
They
him
closed and it caught on fire.
With no insurance policy.
It was the next day.
Who buys something without insurance?
I guess if you don't have a
Same.
lender. you
Sorry
don't
if you're
need
watching
that.
this video, I love you.
So we're way past the 18th, we're way past the reverter, and they've been completely unresponsive since.
No,
Sorry, no, since the fire.
yeah, I texted with him on July 4th, which was the day after, and he said.
Oh, he was responsive, sorry, he
Yeah.
said,
He
okay.
said, oh, I was gonna get, I just got updated drawings from my engineer 3 days ago, I was gonna send them to you, and then I haven't gotten anything.
I mean, the
But we
masonry
were like
is,
urgently trying to call
Yeah,
him
that's
to
what I
board
mean,
up
I
the
thought you were,
building.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood that.
Yeah.
You could not get in like, no one's heard from him since then,
No,
so
no.
at least, right.
he's not easy to get in touch with, but yeah.
Is he represented?
I mean,
That's a
yeah,
fair question, sometimes the attorneys are.
yeah, I mean, at the closing, he had an attorney, it was like from Connecticut or something, it was kind of
No,
random.
but I mean subsequently.
I don't know.
Reverter action.
There hasn't.
We haven't
We haven't
initiated
started
anything.
I'm suggesting that we go there because the building is
Well, but
really
yeah,
coming
so it may
apart.
be worth reaching out to the attorney, if he's not responsive, reach out to the attorney and just say, we have a reverter. And this building is now completely unsecured, you know,
He
we're
did
considering.
come out and secure it,
Oh,
but like
yeah.
4th of July morning, I was like, oh, this building's gonna burn,
Right.
and then I was like,
We
oh,
thought
it
we
it
were-
did.
Right.
We
I mean-
thought people had just gotten into it and that it was at risk of burning, but it had already burned.
Fortunately, just the back of it, but still, it's an attached building, the masonry is in worse shape than it was when we bought it, and. I mean, great, if he submits an engineering set in the next couple weeks, awesome, but
Yeah,
He
if there's like
doesn't, then-
a tickler email to the attorney, maybe.
Why do
just,
people
you know.
go inside and do something with fire in July?
I assume people
They're
were
not keeping warm.
lighting drugs on fire,
Drugs?
is my guess.
It's just kind of a kumbaya moment. kind of
I don't
thing.
know, it was a kumbaya moment, I mean, to get in the back of that building, you really have to, it's not easy.
Okay.
It's called a crack pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A butane torch.
Yeah,
I have a stack, did I steal everyone's disclosure? I have a whole stack here.
No, I think I.
No, there was just, I think, I
Oh, you were supposed to pass it around.
Yeah, I think what happened was the two next to me.
I'm good.
already done it.
Okay,
And I have my side.
awesome, thank you. It's got my little chart.
I guess it's me, so I should do a motion to, everyone good, motion to close the meeting?
Yep.
All in favor, yes.
I,
Yeah.
So we're at
thank you.
5:19.
Have you seen it since?
Not recently, no.
I'm curious what's going on.